Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode where you literally know what you need to know. Alhamdulillah, if you've noticed in our previous episode, we've been bringing women who are quite, they inspire a lot of people across Nigeria and even the world as well. And these are people that we feel that they have, sincerity of purpose, and that's why we tend to sit with them on our show. But before you get to know our guest for today, stay tuned and we will be right back. All right, welcome back. As you all know, this is the Shuraim show. Alhamdulillah, my guest for today is none other than Layla Othman. Layla Othman, good to have you.
It's a pleasure.
I'm not sure if I should put Layla Othman Ghaddi, or how do you call the name now?
It's still the same. Layla
Allah
Ali
make it
Othman.
easy.
Yes.
Barakallahu feek. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the program, and I've looked forward to having this conversation with you for a long time.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, you're here. The first time I encountered you, where I met you, was when I was invited for one of your book launch for a long time ago. Yes. And then I didn't know you that well, but I just saw a few content about you. And then when I went, and that was it. After that, I just keep seeing amazing content, mashallah. So tell me, Layla, for me to understand the kind of person you've become today, the struggles and also the business you do, the social, empowerment that you do, take me on a trip down to your early days for me to understand the kind of woman you've become today.
Down to early days. There's a memory lane that some of them have been buried for a very long time, but I'll try. I would say right from childhood, I have always been someone who look up to women that really do things for the society. It's not that every single time I say a woman is not just a housewife, a lot of people think I mean to demean the housewives, or no. I mean, I've always looked out to be more than just that. So every single thing that I have become started from my early age, seeing the difference between a working class woman, an educated woman, and a woman who is just staying at home. Right. I've always wanted to do more for the society. I feel every individual that is on earth is here for a purpose. And be it as it may, it might be having children, grooming them, or doing that and equally being something to other people. So I've always had passion for helping one another. Going to school would make it easy, definitely, to do all those. So I had to go through school. I started my early age from Yobe. I was born and bred in the Northeast completely. In between, I was in Kaduna for my primary school and secondary school, a little bit of that. And
were you a businesswoman at that age?
I have always been a businesswoman, to be honest.
What age did you start?
From the ages of 15, I've always done like English classes for the children around the area.
And they pay you?
And they pay me, yes. I've always loved that, to be able to have something for myself. That's something that I've always had right from childhood. I started my real business at the age of 18 when I went to university at Maiduguri. I started a salon. It didn't work out. I went back to selling clothes. I realized I really don't have passion for that. So I kept following my passion till I reached a point where I knew exactly what I wanted. That was when I started the interior designing company. Gradually, I moved to making sure I can produce the furniture. Because I have this concept in my head of the things that I want. And gradually I said, let me diversify. Because I keep hearing about, have too many what's it called? Streams of income. So I said, let me try. I love food. I love northern culture. So I said, okay, let me start something that has to do with food. And that's
the L&N kitchen that we have
That's
today.
where L&N kitchen.
By the way, I like the chinkafa and waike, and it's really nice.
Garo.
Garo, garo. What you just said is really amazing. You were finding your passion. Along the way, you tried a few business and you stopped, right?
Definitely.
a lot of people don't even know what passion is. Today, they just feel that if you're doing this, I want to do the exact thing that you're doing. A lot of women out there, a lot of young guys out there, they just feel that, oh, if she's successful in this thing, then I will be successful in that thing. Tell me, in the process when you were finding your, you know, what you have more passion for, how did you come to realize that the salon business wasn't your passion and then you left it?
Sometimes when you try something, I mean, at that age, definitely you wouldn't find, some people find their purpose from that age, but from that age, I really did not find mine. I realized I wasn't happy doing the salon job. It wasn't something that was giving me the income that I wanted. Right. From that time, what I was chasing was genuinely to be rich. I wanted to be rich, to be able to do things, to help people, and seeing the income that the salon brings is not something that I really feel like could give me what I wanted. And I'm not really into beauty and what have you. I just wanted to start something. That was why I said, let me start the salon at that point. But then after moving, graduating to selling clothes, and I realized, oh, I don't have the capacity to call people and say, pay me back my money, because half of it is debt, definitely, when they take it. So I said, okay, what do I really like? I know that every single time I walk into a space, I just look around and I want to change things, either to change the paintings on the wall. I've always had that right from childhood, to change, redecorate my father's house and do all that. I said, okay, maybe interior design is something I love to do, so let me try it.
Until today?
Till today.
I love interior design. My mom used to say that she's scared when I get married, I want to allow my wife to do the house design. But mashallah tabarakallah, this is really amazing, right? Yeah. You know, tell me, when you realized that interior was what you wanted to do, right? What step did you take? Because we have a lot of people watching this, right? And, you know, they want to become business people. I tell a lot of people that, yeah, you can be righteous, you can be a good Muslim, you can do amazing things, but it's very important that you finance your goodness as well. Definitely. So, because sometimes you need to become, because sometimes a lot of people go into satanically inspired actions due to the fact that they have deficit in money, in cash, and the likes of it, so they do like crazy stuff. Definitely. So tell me, if a young person now wants to go into interior, what should they do?
Well, first of all, being an interior designer, it's different from being an interior decorator. A decorator is someone that is a lay person that just feels, I love to design, just like you now, you're a decorator. you see a space and you want to change things. An interior designer goes through school. You have to learn the skill. You have to learn for you to be an interior designer, you have to have the ability. You have to know the skills. You have to know all those little things. So I had to go through school. I started as an interior decorator because it was passion. So after some time, I realized if I'm reading some of these things, I don't understand the language. So that will not take me to where I want to go to. So I went to a decorating school in Dubai. I spent 1.5 years, I believe, and learned how to be a proper interior designer. I'm a certified interior designer. Then went ahead to learn carpentry, because the type of interior design that I wanted to do has its own pattern. I want to be a contemporary designer. So I had to go to Turkey to learn carpentry for about 8 months before I came back and I said, okay, this is my passion. This is something I love to do. So you had to learn, you had to understand. Definitely. I feel every single thing you do in life, if you don't have an idea about it, then you're just going in cycles. I know how many boards I can use to make this table. So no matter how many carpenters I hire, they can't tell me otherwise because I already know. Wow. So it's just like when I wanted to be, to own a restaurant, I had to go through catering school to learn about measurements, to learn about every single business I dive into. The first thing is for me to have the passion, but I have to learn it. I have to gain the skills, have to understand the environment, the measurements, the way we do things, just the basics, so that when you're talking in front of people, they know you know what you're saying. And deep down, a worker cannot tell you otherwise.
That is very remarkable, because having a proper and deeper understanding of what you do goes a long way. A lot of people today, they just feel that, oh, this business is nice. Like recently, I and the producer, we opened a suya truck, and you know, it's really doing well, alhamdulillah. But when he was trying to open it, I was like, see, this thing will work. But when I begin to study about it, I realize that there's so much attached to it than just having a suya truck.
Definitely.
So yeah, if you're listening to this now, if you want to do any business, make sure you learn, because if you don't learn, you're not going to do nothing. All right. Recently, alhamdulillah, I saw on social media that, you know, about 9 gentlemen graduated from the university. Now, we know that in Islam it's very important to help people, very important to reach out to people, very important to be there for people. Definitely. The Prophet ﷺ said that if you're there for people, then Allah will be there for you. And sometimes if you have the capacity to be able to look after people, you realize that this is what Allah has asked you to do. So you're a representative of the Almighty in the dunya to do His job. And there's a certain feeling, like for me personally, I don't have the money to take people to school, but for me personally, when people say they've learned from our TV show, they've learned from this, they've learned from that, there's a feeling that I personally feel that encourages me, despite the challenges, despite, you know, what people will say and likes of it, but it makes me keep moving on. Tell me, Layla, when these kids came to you and you realized that, alhamdulillah, they've gone through this system, they've gone through university, tell me, you know that you are lucky by Allah to make you that person to help them, right? Yes. But tell me, how did you feel? How was that feeling?
It is always an amazing feeling. I keep telling people the smiles on their faces is what keeps me moving and makes me do it all the time. I mean, just like you said, it is not by my doing. It's a privilege for Allah to allow you even do some of these things. So looking back, seeing how they started, from the kind of families they're from, and where they are right now, it's unbelievably amazing, and it's fulfilling by itself. For me, this is the only reason why I do businesses, so that I can be able to find small tokens and fund some of these projects. Amazing. It's unbelievably amazing to see them go through life, and you're part of their journey, and in a positive way. So,
you know, that's really amazing, because when I saw it, I was very emotional, because usually I tell people that if you're not useful in the dunya, you're not helping people become the best version of themselves, you're not helping them unleash their innermost potential, then you're just a waste. Definitely. Because to be sincere with you, if you die, the only thing we're going to remember are the good things that you have done. And I got to realize one thing, right? You know, we run more of like an Islamic media center, right? So for us, outside Nigeria, it's easy to get donations from people. In Nigeria, you don't seek for donations. So we made it a principle in our studio not to seek for donations at all until, you know, to specific individuals, have talk with them. But there's one thing I realize. Allah doesn't give the privilege to everyone to help His deen or help the people. And that is something that when I realized, I was like, wow. So if you ain't going to help, it's your problem. Your problem. All right. You know, I know that, alhamdulillah, you've gone through a lot of, you know, hurdles in terms of your attaining success, and for every success you've achieved, there's always these hurdles that come about, there's always this up and down, the likes of it. Tell me, what is the most thing that people misunderstand about you, that if I don't know you now and I go out and someone who perhaps does not like you, just say, Shuraim, do you know Layla? And I'm like, no, who is she? And then you've been telling me this, right? What is the most thing that people misunderstand about you and you feel hurt by that? The fact that, why I'm asking this question, this is right, that the Quran says if an information is brought to you, fatabayyanu, you verify first, right? Yeah. So you don't make the mistake of misjudging people and hurting them, right? So tell me, because I realized that a lot of successful people in court and people who are popular, they go through this lane. When I started my TV show and it became a bit popular, I didn't know how to take the hate. It was crazy, right? It was crazy, but now I've been able to learn with experience, okay, calm down, life is going to be easy, just do the likes. But tell me, what is the thing that people most misunderstand about you?
I think I would say my persona as a person. A lot of people think I am a completely different person from what they actually see. Right. But the thing is, I am exactly what you see. There's nothing outside of what I am. But a lot of people have so much, some think I'm a feminist. It's all about women. I really don't feel like I am, I can be fair when it comes to the other gender.
For the sake of recording, are you a feminist?
I am not a feminist. I am someone who, for the first time, my husband once told me that a lot of people say you're a feminist, but you are not a feminist. You are more of a realist and someone whom likes justice. And from the first time I heard from someone else's perspective, because that is what I am, I only want justice, fairness to everyone. And when you hear me talk about women, most of the time it's because 99% of the injustice sometimes that we face in the northern part of Nigeria comes from women. It's women that are being maybe molested, they're being maltreated, not even just by their men. Sometimes it's even between women and women.
Right.
So I always come in to say, oh, this is not fair. And a lot of people, especially men, view me as a feminist. And to be honest, I'm just someone who fights for what is right in any capacity. If you look at, somebody asked me yesterday, she said, oh, as a feminist, as someone that is a feminist, why do you promote men more? All your charity is about men, the boy child, the Almajiri child. Yeah. Why? And I'm like, well, you just answered yourself. If I was a feminist, it's going to be the girl child all the time, but it's both ways. But the reason why you hear boys all the time is because Almajiri system is more of boys than girls, but we do the girls as well.
That's a beautiful answer, and I think your husband is a poet.
Yes.
May Allah bless him and may Allah preserve him. Barakallahu fiqh. So, you know, I like the fact that you focus on the male child, simply because, like, for me personally, when I lost my dad when I was 7, and then, Amin Ya Rahman, Amin Ya Rab. So my mom took care of me, trained me, you know, to the manner I became today. Alhamdulillah, may Allah preserve her, bless her. And I think that a lot of young people, young boys, aren't given a lot of attention. Hence, a lot of young people go through a lot of traumas today. It's unbelievable what they go through. But we can't talk to anyone. We can't talk to people because, number one, there's no trust. Number one, we have terrible friends who will go tell other people about our issues and likes of it. So basically, you find out that the male child is really suffering and doesn't want to talk about his problems and likes of it. And most people in their early 20s or late 30s, they just become crazy. And that's why the rate of drugs in Nigeria is so high when it comes to even in Arewa, and in Arewa, mostly the young people who are growing. Before I go to my next question, we're just going to take a short break. If you don't mind, I'll be right back. All right, dear viewers, alhamdulillah, we've been discussing with Layla. We're just going to take a short break, and inshallah, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We've been discussing with Layla, and she has given some amazing insight. Number one is, if you have a business and if it's not working for you, that's not your passion, go do something else. However, before you do any kind of business, even if you think you know it, just know that you don't know it. You've got to learn that particular business. And is Layla a feminist? No, she says she's not a feminist. Now, in Islam, when we ask questions to people and they give us what they say, you have no right to think otherwise. What they say is what we hold on to that. Layla, thank you so much. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a trip now to a different place. Okay. Back to spirituality, right? For me personally, why I studied Islamic theology in the university was because I wanted to know why I was praying. I wanted to know Allah more. And when I graduated from the university, before I graduated, like 2 years to, that was when the idea of running a TV show came into place and likes of it. But, you know, I found spirituality, and alhamdulillah, it's been an amazing journey for me personally. Of course, sometimes you go up, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's low, sometimes it's that, and, you know, you don't find that pace, right? With what you're doing, empowerment, the businesses you do, and the, you know, the people you manage, basically, tell me, let me find the best way to coin this particular question, right? At what point in your life did you find the grace of Allah in you? And how did you feel? If you can't remember, at least you can remember the feeling, but how did you feel?
Definitely, no, I can't remember it vividly. I would say because we were brought up from, like, you know, when you're in the northern part of Nigeria, a contemporary family where my dad is really very vast in Islam. He studied Islamic studies. So we've always had this Islamic upbringing. We've been to Islamia from the very early ages. The things that I know, a lot of people don't even believe that I know them because of what I am today. I've always been grounded with Allah. There's no deviation with Allah. But there's so many times that when I hear some things, they say, oh, a woman is not supposed to do. I'm like, no, Allah didn't say this. So at my early age, 20s, and to say maybe my early 30s, at the age of maybe 32, there's a bit of time that I went through a rough patch after my second divorce. It was really difficult for me to analyze some of the things that I know based on religion. So many things that I understood became really fuggy sometimes. I tried to reach out to so many ulamas to talk about, I don't understand sometimes. When I'm praying, I feel like, what am I saying? Because when I started reading the Quran in English, it really took me aback, because it was me hearing it in Arabic. It was really nice, these melodies. Then now I'm reading it, I'm like, but this is like, let me take for example Surah Al-Fil. They're talking about elephants. I'm like, what does this have to do with me standing in front of my Creator? I became so deep in wanting to know too much. And because I had no guide, a lot of ulamas turned me away to say, like, they kept telling me things like, there are certain things you don't ask. Just don't say anything, just do it. But because I was reading too much on the internet, it really deviated my brain. And I'm very spiritual, I'm a deep thinker. So sometimes everything you give me, I try to analyze it before. I'm not the kind of person that you just tell me this glass is made out of this, and I'm like, okay, no, I would know. I have to understand it before I can be able to come to a mutual ground with you. Even Sheikh Mank, I've sent him a couple of messages. He never responded. But I sent him some message. There was a time I was feeling really terrible about prayer. I feel when I stand there, I feel empty. There's no connection. It went for about a year. I kept pushing and pushing. And one day, for no apparent reason, I felt like every single time you question all these things, but every single time you fly, anytime I go in the aeroplane, the first thing my mind goes to is Ayatul Kursi for like Idanasi. I'm like, but if you believe these parts, that they protect you, so why can't you believe in the rest? So find a better ground to understand these things, but don't question it. But I never, in between those times, ever questioned the existence of Allah. Just some of the messages that were not clear to me. From that day, I think where I gained my clarity back was, you can't even believe it, I think it's in Akwa Ibom or something. I went to Abia to buy fabrics, Abba. And I was lying down in the hotel room, and I was just thinking to myself, I slept for like a minute. I could swear that I heard a voice. I don't know whether it's just an illusion, but I could swear I heard a voice tell me that you are on the right path. And you need to check all the lapses and go back to, you don't know when you're going to die. For no apparent reason, I stood up, ran to the bathroom, ne alwala. I came back and I did 2 rakahs, and that was the day that I felt grounded in Islam. That's the day I felt like truly I'm not just following it blindly. I wasn't just raised as a Muslim. No, I felt Islam is where I'm supposed to be. And from that day, I've been trying so hard to work on all the lapses and anything. Up till today, I question things, but never Islam or the basics or Allah himself.
That's really amazing. You know, a lot of people think that to attain spirituality, you need to forget your humanness. And for me, what I've realized over the past few years, and from what you just said right now, attaining spirituality means that you appreciate how human you are. Then it brings you closer to Allah, right? And then you ask the right question, not because you're in doubt.
Definitely.
Because you need clarity.
Definitely.
Right? You know, there was an instance where a prophet, you know, was asking a question, you get, and Allah said to him, do you doubt us? He said, no, we just need some bit of clarity. Subhanallah. So what people need to understand is that when you have any doubt, What you're looking for is clarity.
Clarity,
Now, but when you have the doubt and you're arrogant and you don't want to learn, you don't anyone want to tell you anything, you're just convinced that, see, this is me, then you're lost, right? Even if you have doubt in Allah, even if you have doubt in the existence of Allah, as long as you're looking for clarity,
Yes.
as long as you ask the right people, then you find that Allah makes it easy for you.
Definitely.
Now, Layla, tell me, let's go back to business a bit, right? I don't have money. I want to do a beautiful business. What do I do? What is the first instance? Because everyone says that we don't have capital, but we want to do business. What's your advice for people?
Well, I always say capital does not really mean a big amount of money. A lot of people want to start a business and they want to start big. But I don't know of a story aside from people whom are born in wealth that have started businesses with a huge capital.
Right.
Every successful business person that I've read about, probably there are some people out there, but the ones that I've read about started from nothing. So you have to nurture where you are. Start from not even having the money. When I opened my interior designing company, I literally had not more than $1 million. I started from a very minimal start. And it took me 2 years for one customer to buy a piece of chair. I was even trying, I make tables and chairs and take them to offices for free, just so that they could see my worth. So sometimes it's not about capital, it's about passion. If you don't have the passion, even if you have the money, you would be tired. But when you have that passion, without money, you can push that business. You can see so many people starting little. Start little by little. Cultivate the culture of saving. There's a difference between profit and the main money that you invested. Some people eat it all. My mother does that all the time. She buys wrappers, she sells. If they pay her 20,000, she eats the entire 20,000. And tomorrow she'll tell you, business in Bayai, but it's not Bayai. It's because you're not looking at what is the profit? How do I remove this? That still comes back to knowledge. Before you start a business, gain the knowledge. Build a business plan. No, even if it's just one page. Understand where you're going to. Understand where you're starting and what you really want from this business. The culture of saving in business is not applicable to a lot of business owners in Nigeria. That is why it doesn't work. We eat the capital and everything at once. Right. I tell you this, it took me 13 years to understand this. I ran L&N Interiors for 13 years before opening L&N Kitchen. After I opened L&N Kitchen, that was when I realized that I wasn't really making money in interiors. But I had money. I knew, oh, money comes in. I do this, tomorrow I have to wait for it to come again. I did not understand the concept of accounting in business. Every business owner must equally enroll in an accounting school or accounting classes to understand their own type of business. Every business has its own unique accounting style. So you have to know, if I put this, what is my riba? What is the profit? Because sometimes you boil one spaghetti. Right. You think I bought that spaghetti at 350. So I sell it at 1,000, I made money. No, you did not. You forgot there's gas that cooked that. There's oil, there's Maggi, there's this, all of those you have to, those components, you have to remove every single penny, including the rent of that space, including the diesel that you use in that place, including the salary of the staff. Everything must be removed before you come to your own profit. And that is what is yours. And at the end of the day, it's so insignificant. But because you think you made 1 million today, you thought 1 million is your riba, is your interest. That's not your interest. Your interest might just be 100,000 naira by the time you remove all those things. So business owners, no matter how little it is, they must understand accounting. And if you have a good business idea, so many people will invest in you. It's just knowing the right people to take those businesses to. Now we are at an era of social media. You don't even have to produce a lot. You can produce just one and put it there and say, I make this glass cup. Somebody must order before you produce it. So pay me a 10%, let me produce it. And then I'll give you, then you give me the remaining money. There's so many strategies to business. But yes, capital is a very vital part of starting a business, but that is not the main reason for sustaining a business.
Amazing.
That's just how I see it.
Wow, I have like a lot of questions to ask, but I think we're running out of time. But let me go down to this lane, right? You've been in service of humanity. I keep saying this simply because for me, I think it's really key and it's quite important for every human being who has a common functional sense to do such. Tell me, when you think of the last day you're going to spend in this world, the day you're going to go back to Allah, what comes to your mind?
What will my husband do?
That is the most amazing response for a long time. What do you think he will do?
Oh my God. What? No. Well, I don't know seriously what he would do, but I know it's not going to be fun for him. And to me, I always say I feel the last day will be like what's called a memory flip through life. I feel on that day I will feel the need to think about every single part of my life, to judge myself. There's something my husband says all the time. Every human being if you close your eyes for 1 second, you can judge yourself. You know whether you're a good person or a bad person. So I believe on that day, that can come to me. I would know if I have done something on this earth that is worth me being a little bit happy to meet my Creator. Because you never know if whatever it is that we've done, I mean, it's not a certainty that what we do is what will take us to Jannah. But I know deep down that I am going to Jannah, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah.
I don't have a doubt.
Certainly, inshallah.
Inshallah. I feel like I feel most of the times that I am an ambassador of Allah, and I'm someone that tries, no matter how little it is, to keep up to that particular thing that I feel. Because the first time I went to Saudi, when I was doing the tawaf, I said, Ya Allah, give me money so that I can give people. So every money I get, I feel he heard me for the first time. I said, let me give her this money and see whether she will give. So every single money that I get, I make sure that there is something for people, because I feel it's not mine. Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful answer. And I'm going to end with this question, right? People want to say stuff. People want to assume stuff. And recently I saw the way you responded to some certain issues whereby you didn't speak, you were quiet and likes of it. Now, I'm going to just ask this question so that this can be a general thing and a reference point for everyone out there who want to say stuff without even verifying. And even if they verify, they don't have the right to. What do you want to say to them?
Well, it's just like you heard me yesterday. I was telling a friend of mine, I said, I'm looking for a platform like this, not to speak directly to these people, but like a platform where someone will just ask me a question like this. To me, I don't know, I don't think not that I don't think, I know people don't know me, because every single person that knows me knows that I really don't care. I'm that kind of person that I have built a thick skin to so many things. You have no idea the things that I've been through and the things that have never bothered me. I'm this kind of person that I get into my house with nothing in my head. I just want to sleep or have a nice conversation with my partner or just talk about business. We're always talking about the way forward for us. So I feel like someone talking about me really doesn't mean anything. And I know. I once said, my dad said to me, if you are doing the right thing, you will see how many people will oppose you. But if you're doing the wrong thing, everybody will be with you. So it doesn't really matter what anyone thinks about me. But one thing I say all the time, when people come out and say, oh, we have something on Layla that if we say it to the world will shake. My message is, anybody that has it, don't even sugarcoat it, just bring it out. There's no need for us to be doing all this back and forth. I know, you don't know, just display it and then Allah will judge. If you don't have it, then just keep quiet. because I'm not, I would say this for the first time, there's a word he uses all the time. Something about being modest, being human, something I can't remember. I'm not trying to be vain, but since the day I was born to this earth, Allah fights my battles. I have never fought anyone in my life. I've never had anyone in my heart that stays for a very long time. I'm a forgiving person, and I always tell people I always forgive. But whether I forgive you or not, if you tarnish my image or you say something that is wrong, I know who to tell. And that one is beyond you and I.
That's very deep and very therapeutic for me as well. And, you know, because sometimes something recently happened, you know, and I was wondering, why would this person say this kind of things about me? And how will they assume this kind of stuff about me? And these are people that are close to you. These are people that they come or want to work with you, want to do this with you. And then when you just say no, because I have a very good boundary, alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me with the power to say no.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I say no to these people, they say, oh, Shuraim this, Shuraim that, Shuraim this, Shuraim that. And they say crazy stuff. And sometimes it hurts me, it burns me.
Definitely.
And then people that come to tell me, I tell them that, see, don't tell me what people tell you anymore. I don't want to hear. Right. So for me, I think this is therapeutic enough. And it will gladden you to know that there's a verse in the Quran where Allah said that, you know, He will fight for you. He will handle them for you. So sometimes if you're sincere with Allah, something happens, you look at Allah and say, Ya Allah, I've done A, B, C, and D, and I've lived it for you, Ya Allah. So this is a very beautiful reply.
I say it all the time.
Yeah. So please, we're gonna have a part 2 if you don't mind. I'm asking you on air, where we have more than 20 million people watching, inshallah.
That's amazing. I'm always open for it.
For us on this show, what we try to do is to bring out the best in people.
Yeah.
To allow people to say their words, to be able to be free, and also express themselves. And what you've said is really amazing. I hope that everyone watching get to learn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing, Shuraim, what you do as well to educate our young generation. This is like one platform where someone your age, my age, can watch, and it's beautiful. It's more of telling people that, yeah, you can be trendy, but you have to be religious.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really like that.
Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, dear viewers, we've come to the end of this show. This has been a beautiful, amazing episode for me personally. And as you all know, if an episode is not good for me, I don't even post it, I don't even air it. But for me personally, I know this is therapeutic enough. And I hope that if you're watching this at home, that you benefit from this and always turn back to Allah. You know, life is going to get crazy. You're going to think that things are not going to happen. You're going to get very sad. But every time these things happen, always make sure that you go back to the one who has made you in the best of ways. Because guess what? Even Allah said, if you transgress upon Him, never ever lose hope in my mercy, because Allah said, I am there for you. He didn't say if, you know, He said when you transgress, right? So even when you transgress, just go back to Allah, speak to Him, and He will be able. And for the naysayers, you know, I just want to call our attention, right? We all say stuff. If you can't say what is good, at least fear Allah and gag up and shut up, so that on the day of Yawmul Qiyamah, I wouldn't come and hold you on your chest and say you said ABC about me. If you can't verify an information, even when you verify, the Prophet ﷺ said that it is enough evil for a man to say they say them say, right? It is enough evil. So I am calling everyone's attention as best as we can. We don't know when we're going to die. People are dying. You're going to die. I'm going to die. You don't want to say something bad about me that you don't even know, and then you die, and I hear about it, and what would I say? Allah Gafar Tamaka? I'm not sure I'm that nice. May Allah make it easy for us. Until the next episode, I'll leave you all in the care of Allah. Always try to subscribe. And I will end with this. Please. For the first time, I was told about our YouTube, so you need to start subscribing to our YouTube page. And they say we're going to get paid for that, inshallah. Jazakallah khair and barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum.